Have you ever been disappointed or hurt by somebody else's actions? I would bet my life that the answer is yes, right? It happens to all of us. But a lot of times what happens is somebody hurts us in a seemingly small way, but hours later we can find ourselves spiraling over something way bigger than it ever needed to be. It could go from them saying something really small to then you spiraling into thinking all the things that they've ever said to you in your life that hurt you, or how they've been doing all these other things wrong that you've just never verbalized to them. And it can lead you to becoming incredibly angry or sad or depressed or spiraling. That's the best word for it. So in this video, I'm going to show you my reset routine for how I bounce back from a situation like this, where I find myself full of anxiety and stress and just really not feeling good in my body, how I come back to a state of peace and calm. Hi loves, my name is Courtney Violetta. If you're new on this channel, we talk about spirituality, wellness, self-exploration, and just navigating your life in your 20s. So if that's something that you're into, definitely subscribe. So when we're hurt or disappointed, of course we have to communicate that to the person who hurt us, right? But sometimes that isn't always accessible in the moment. Sometimes we don't want to have that conversation over text, or we know that it's going to lead to a fight and we just aren't in the mental space to do that. But it is really important to come back to your body and just get yourself out of the spiral before it really happens. So when you feel you're hurt or disappointed by somebody, the goal is to acknowledge that you're hurt, but to not let it affect you so deeply, to not let it affect your mood, to not let it ruin your entire day. And this is how we're going to stop that. The first step is to connect back to your body. I'm a huge fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he talks about how the body is what holds us back to the past. So we have our emotions and we have the body that's remembering the last time we felt that emotion, or even the first time we felt that emotion. So sometimes we might, be triggered by something that doesn't entirely make sense to us, and we start feeling anxiety and we feel really sad or really angry, but we don't necessarily know where it's coming from. A lot of the times it's because our body is remembering something from the past that we aren't really conscious of. So in order to take myself out of my body when I'm feeling this way, I just like to move. So that could be going for a walk or doing P-Volve, which is my favorite type of exercise right now, or it's yoga, whatever feels good in my body. If you're somebody who has a lot of energy and maybe feels really angry and needs to just get it out, you could do boxing, or you could go running, or just doing something a little bit more strenuous. Whatever feels good to you in your body. The whole point is to just get the energy out, or at least get it moving. I personally just like going for a walk because I'm with my dog and he makes me laugh. I get to take in all the sights and sounds, but sometimes I listen to podcasts. But either way, that's my happy space. That's my time to just de-stress and take in some fresh air and get outside in nature. So whatever feels good to you, definitely move your body. When I come home, the next thing that I do is I take a cold shower. I'm a huge fan of cold therapy, and this has done wonders for my mood in general. And apparently it's really good for your immunity and inflammation and all sorts of things like health-wise. So if you want to see an entire video on cold therapy and why I love to do it, let me know in the comments down below, because I would love to make that. When you're in a cold shower or you're taking an ice bath or doing some sort of cold therapy, the only thing you're really able to focus on is your breath. So for me, when I have anxiety, it is the best way for me to just calm myself down, to really bring myself back to reality and to just breathe. If I'm feeling like I'm really anxious and I'm doing a lot of short breathing, a lot of times I'll just hop in the shower for 3 minutes, really cold, and just get it out. I also love to do this when I wake up in the morning, because sometimes I feel like I had a horrible dream and I just want to get that negative energy off me. And this is how I love to do that. The next step isn't necessarily a step in itself, but this is something that I love to do. And it really helps me to connect back to my body once again. So when I'm in the cold shower, I love to make a apple cider vinegar rinse. It's just like a hair treatment in itself. But what I do is I add a lot of peppermint oil, like 15 or so drops. If you're sensitive to peppermint oil and you want to try this, you could still do it with less drops and it'll still work. But for the hair treatment, side note, I just dunk my ends in it and it works wonders. But in terms of this hack, when I pour it over my head, the peppermint oil is pretty strong and I can feel it just tingling my scalp. I feel it tingling my whole body. And it feels so good. First of all, it's like you're a walking diffuser. As your hair dries, you just smell the peppermint all around you. It's very invigorating and peaceful. but also you're able to just feel your back that's really cold and just tingly, and your scalp, and it makes you more aware of your body rather than thinking of all the things you're angry about. It just brings you back and you're like, I feel so good in my body right now. I feel invigorated. And it really works. So don't overlook this step if you want to try it. And it's also a really great hair treatment. I did it this morning. If I'm still feeling any sort of anxiety, or I feel like I need to come out of my body a little bit more, like it just doesn't feel right, I like to do Nadi, Shodhana, pranayama. This is alternate nostril breathing. I've been doing this ever since I did yoga teacher training in 2016. And this is something that has stuck with me as a key tool in order to regulate my anxiety. So if you're somebody who deals with anxiety, this is a great tool to use. It really helps to balance the left and right hemispheres of your brain and really brings you back into a state of oneness and peacefulness. And this is great to do before jumping into a meditation like we're going to do in a second. So what you do is you place your thumb over your right nostril and your index finger and your middle finger on your third eye area. And then you place your ring finger on your left nostril. So then you're going to breathe in through one and then out through the other. Breathe in through that nostril and then out through the other. You're supposed to do it really slowly and just take really deep breaths. Also a great way to know if you have a deviated septum, but it just is so amazing. It's a great tool to use for anxiety, so I highly recommend it. By the end of doing all of these things, you're going to feel so good in your body and ready to jump into the next step. This is when you go inwards. This is a meditation that you can do. You don't have to do it for like an hour. You can just do it for a couple minutes. But what I want you to do is locate in your body where you feel this emotion, where you feel this hurt. For me, a lot of the times it's in my heart. I'm a very sensitive person and I feel like a lot of things hurt me in my heart. So when I tune into my heart and ask myself, what emotion am I truly feeling? Am I actually really sad, or am I feeling angry? Like, what is the emotion? Like, there are underlying emotions to different feelings that we may have. So find the core emotion that you're feeling. And once you find that, ask yourself, what is the core belief that's being triggered? Because when you're spiraling and you feel your body responding to all this, it's not because you just feel angry. Your body is remembering this core belief that you have about yourself, and it's triggered by that. So we have to acknowledge whatever it is that this belief is that you hold. So a lot of times for me personally, it comes back to just a few core beliefs that I hold about myself, but so many different things spiral off of that. So you might find that the more that you practice this, that there are just a couple core beliefs that you hold that then can be alchemized. And once you do that, you can release all these other things that are influencing this. And it's just such a powerful practice. So in order to change this belief, you have to alchemize it and acknowledge it. And the way that you do that is then asking yourself, when was the first time that I had this belief about myself? What made me have this belief about myself? Did somebody say something that triggered me? Or like one of the beliefs that I have that I know isn't true, but it just keeps showing up in my life is that like I'm not cared for. But obviously I'm so cared for, I'm so loved, but then like this part of me like has this underlying belief and I'm like, where the hell does this come from? So by going deep, I can find different situations where I developed this belief about myself. By going inward and envisioning that inner child, envisioning that moment where, or moments where this belief was formed, and talking to your inner child, being like, what happened? Are you okay? What is it that you need right now? And once they tell you what it is that they need, you as the adult can have this conversation with your inner child and heal it. Like if maybe they just need to be told that somebody's proud of them or that they're doing a great job. Just give them whatever it is that they need in this meditation practice. This practice itself is so powerful. You can do this for so many different beliefs that you have about yourself. And it might not go away the first time that you do this. Like maybe your inner child really needs some deep healing, but this is how it works. This is how you can do it. And there's several different beliefs that you may have. And like I said, there's different elements of your life and patterns that are attached to it. But once it's alchemized, a few more just go away. But eventually you'll fully release that belief and your life will be so much better because of it. And if your inner child really just needs some love and a hug, give them a big hug. Just tell them how proud of them you are, how loved they are, and how beautiful their life is, and that you're going to take care of them. Even if they feel like nobody else is, you're always there for them, and that is what matters. And once you feel at peace with your experience, then you just shake it out. Shake your body, get all of that energy off. feel like dancing. I was laughing because my dog was jumping on me when I was doing this. Just feel good. Like when you jump around, like you can't help but smile. You'll feel good, you'll feel silly, and it just helps to release any last stagnant negative energy that might be holding on to you from this hurt or disappointment that you feel. And ultimately, all of these together will help you come back to a peaceful state of mind. Trust me, this works like a charm. These steps are my go-to for any time that I feel like I'm hurt. And of course, you know, I have communication with the people who hurt me. But like I said, this is just me taking back control of my body and my mind and not letting it get to me and ruin my day, because we don't want somebody else to have the power to ruin our day. Right? We got control of that. So I know this video is going to be super helpful for you the next time you feel hurt or disappointed. So save it for later and share this with somebody who might be going through something and might need a little bit of help to feel better and a little bit more peaceful. Make sure that you're subscribed if you're not already so that you can see more videos from me every single week. And I will see you next week with another video. Bye.